Now that we did that good thing, let's look at this bad thing.
This is Hasan, Piker, Ethan, and Hila Klein Destiny situation. It was one of the most requested
W move by doing all this press public appearance because Ethan's a fucking idiot who lies about you being this public means all he says is lies. Otherwise, they'd never talk to you. I mean, I don't do the W press because of Ethan. I don't think about Ethan Klein at all. He's not a person that occupies any kind of time in my mind, if we're being real.
Stories over on the text line, and it's crazy. With many saying it's gone past the line of drama, and this is something else. And with this mix of podcasters and political commentators, there is more history here than what's happening now. This latest controversy appears to start when you had Hasan Piker making a remark that many believe targeted Hila Klein.
Any kind of violence that Israeli settlers or the Israeli military experiences in the West Bank is literally legal, okay? It is legal resistance against an occupying military force. I cannot repeat this enough. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza and an apartheid in the West Bank, 2 crimes in and of itself. And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal.
Right, so it appears.
So thank God, respect to Philip for posting the full scope. Okay? Because when you see it with the actual context, even though the original clip that they like circulated kind of was like cut short weirdly, but I still very clearly was talking about like participating in an illegal raid. Okay. It just doesn't, like, when you see that, it just makes no fucking sense to try to like spark up drama. Because even the clip chip version also fucking featured the context. I want to see what people are saying. The Destiny Hasan H3 history is a can of worms you do not want to open. This goes much deeper than this one current conflict. I bet the comments will be very normal. Ethan not being live while this drops. I see you, Philly.
Appears that he's talking in general about current ongoing violence there, but the call out to your favorite podcaster's wife has gotten a lot of attention because Hila previously served in the IDF. And this also has a...
Well, no. She didn't just previously serve in the IDF. She participated in an illegal raid in the West Bank as a part of her service in the Israeli occupying force. And not only is what I'm saying not like a, gray area or anything. It's just international law, right? Ethan Klein himself has on numerous occasions agreed with that sentiment. He has actually presented it in his context nuke, talking about his bona fides for how much he is an advocate, a stalwart ally of the Palestinians, as he has said. Ethan Klein has said, West Bank settlers are valid military targets. Ethan Klein has admitted that his wife is a terrorist on stream. Were you saying if your favorite podcast wife was in Israel performing illegal war crimes that they would be illegal target? That's how I understood it. No, I'm saying in the process of anyone at all. It could be your mom, your dad, your fucking favorite podcaster. Anyone that engages, okay, because the conversation that I was having was more so about the way that people look at those who adorn the garb, like state violence versus non-state actors, right? Versus any kind of resistance against state violence. And what I was trying to do there was to say it doesn't matter who it is that puts on the Israeli occupying force gear and participates in an illegal raid in the West Bank. they are, if they receive violence in retaliation from the occupied force, that is legal. That is a legal act of resistance. Okay? This is not a threat. This is not a threat to Ethan or Ethan's wife or anything like that. All of it is stupid. And anyone, and I mean anyone, that even remotely entertains this as a direct threat is actually 100% playing the role that a lot of these guys want you to play by creating additional drama around this. Okay? Like this person right here is duped. You yourself are refusing to recognize that in that moment, whoever this person is that has gotten because she did participate in an illegal raid in the occupied West Bank in a kidnapping operation of a Palestinian. That's why. Okay? Does that hurt your feelings? Does that make you feel bad? I'm sorry. That is something that happened. Within the confines of that illegal operation, my statement is 100% correct. There is no like seeking out vengeance after the fact. Okay? Again, you are not interested in the actual thing that I'm saying. You are invested in either the drama or your parasocial relationship that you have with content creators. And that is why you're doing this. If you truly understood that Palestinians were human beings, you would feel the same way. You would look at the situation and go, Israel is doing a genocide. Okay? And people who have now understood that reality can reflect on their prior feelings, their prior analysis on the situation of a person that participated in an illegal raid in the West Bank, an illegal military occupation, and its occupational forces, including Gila Klein, who was a part of the illegal occupation, conducted an illegal raid in the occupied West Bank to kidnap a Palestinian, something that the Israeli military has processed and serialized. Okay? I hate Ethan, but you're just as bad because there's no mention of... Again, your feelings do not factor into this consideration. That is a real thing that happened. Now, maybe it didn't happen. Why would I know this, right? Well, I know this because she has reflected on this. She has talked about it. Okay? And when she talked about it, neither do yours about Gila. Yes, exactly. My feelings about Gila or Ethan have nothing to do with this conversation at all. Remove myself and your feelings out of this equation. Okay? Also, to say just as bad about like a podcaster or a podcaster's wife that you enjoy the content of is so fucking stupid. Now, here's the thing. Before you continue freaking out about this, before you engage in endless hysterics, I have interviewed people who have served in the IDF on this broadcast. Because I don't hold people's past actions as a firm and committed believer in rehabilitation. I do not hold people's past actions against them, especially if they've reflected on them, especially if they've changed their minds. Okay? Nothing I said is about, nothing I have brought up in that point has anything to do whatsoever with like what to do with Gila Klein today. Okay? That is hysterics. That is bullshit. There has never been a single moment where I've ever advocated for any harm to be done to Ethan or Gila. As a matter of fact, I have condemned things that other people have done to the Klein family. Make no mistake, whether it be CPS calls or whether it be skulls being sent or whatever, this is not something that I'm interested in. This is not something that I've ever engaged in. It's not something that I would ever fucking condone. Okay? And you know this. Because I've made it very clear, even though I have nothing to do with it, and Ethan desperately tried to make it seem like it was my doing somehow, and everyone and anyone, anonymous Redditors, anyone who's ever said, Teddy Frisk sucks, was responsible for the CPS, was responsible for the skulls. He just kept saying it over and over again. Okay? He said I was responsible for it. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. There's never been a moment where I haven't wished them well, even at the point of the debate, even in our private correspondences. It's all fucking bullshit. You will not find me fucking demanding that any sort of harm befall either of these people. I have actively condoned that. I have never, ever in a million years would advocate for something like that. It's fucking bullshit. And I'm saying that even though both of them have spent the last fucking year and a half spending every waking moment seemingly. What do you mean? What did I say? Did I say I've never... What did I say? You mean condemn? No, I'm saying I've never condoned. I've never condoned like violence. Did I say it wrong? Okay, well, whatever. Regardless, you know what I mean, okay? I think it's fucking ridiculous. Oh, I've actively condoned that. I've actively condemned that. Sorry. Here we go. Can't wait for that fucking fake clip to circulate. I think I said it right though. In any case, this is just people who are desperate to perceive themselves as victims, okay? That's it. People are desperate to perceive themselves as victims after spending years and years like lighting their entire careers and their franchise, their businesses on fire in an effort to get one off on a person that made Ethan Klein feel small. Okay, that's it. And he just never gave up. I wanted what was best for him. I thought I could convince him. I was wrong. But this situation is completely ridiculous. Let's keep going.
Little extra background here. Hasan and Ethan and Hila have been very publicly at odds over their clashing views with Israel and Gaza, as well as just, a number of other things. But in the here and now, you had Hila seeing Hasan's latest remark and accusing him of calling for violence against her specifically, with Ethan then later echoing that, posting a video yesterday saying,
"Why even include a specific person who hasn't served in the military in 20 years? Why does he mix up past and present tense while he's discussing?"
I didn't do that. I didn't. I said actively participating in a raid. It doesn't matter who it is.
This, is this a responsible use of his words and his platform? Don't you think that even if what you're saying is...
I like that one chatter was just straight up repeating this take, by the way, in the chat. That's funny.
True, and you meant only people on that raid would deserve violence, that invoking a specific person is really appropriate and true. And doesn't that have the risk for provoking?
If this standard was evenly applied, don't you think that spending the last year calling me a fucking dangerous Hamas mouthpiece, a Hamas terrorist, actively demanding that people take action against me would put you directly in harm's way for legal repercussions? You spent the past 22 months of genocide actively making a villain out of anyone and everyone, firing off hundreds of Instagram stories, so much so that you couldn't even fucking imagine yourself. You couldn't believe the amount of Instagram stories you'd posted before this fucking debate. You thought it was a lie when I brought up the receipts. You couldn't believe it. And then you turned around and fired off 10 plus stories every fucking day. To this day. It's ridiculous. What do you think? Spreading misinformation about me, constantly fucking clipping me out of context, regularly demanding that like people take action against me at a time when the government is taking action against me. What do you think you're doing? You know exactly what the fuck you're doing. Okay? The notion that like I was invoking your wife that you also openly recognize participated in an illegal raid in the West Bank as a part of the occupying forces that did a war crime for any reason other than the fact that she did do that is ridiculous. Okay? I wish that both you and your wife would really reflect on the harm that you are still actively causing. Every day, he just like hits the Hen Mazik lines over and over again while also directly retweeting Hen Mazik, reposting Hen Mazik, who is a Hosberist, definitionally. Brother, I would just stop watching this. They've done some fuck shit today that will fuck the vibe of the stream immensely. Just saying, I have no idea what you're talking about.
The craziest people in your audience to think that maybe it would be a good idea to kill my wife.
With that, then getting a lot of attention online, and even had the likes of Destiny discussing Hasan's comment in a chat, writing, I honestly think you could perfectly justify attacking/killing Hasan IRL for statements like this. With many then saying that escalated the situation to a whole new level, and you had a number of people calling out Destiny for seemingly condoning violence. With Hasan then also posting, this sociopathic cult leader is actively telling his audience that it's moral to kill me in real life because I said Palestinians have a legal right to resist against an illegal occupying force conducting a raid. When anyone joins an occupying force and participates in a raid in a legally occupied territory, the occupied people have a legal right to defend themselves through armed struggle. With them then also addressing the Destiny situation in a stream on Sunday.
That's definitely actionable, I'm pretty sure. It's also weird that this guy gets to have a YouTube account. Like, that is a real death threat. What I'm saying is not a death threat at all. What I'm saying is just what the law is right now.
You had Hasan arguing that he wasn't even trying to give an opinion, he was just discussing international law and acts of resistance. With Hasan then also claiming that many people were taking his initial remark out of context and that he by no means was trying to condone or encourage violence against Klein.
There is no point where I have said violence against someone who is not actively in combat is permissible. I don't believe that. That is illegal. This is not, and also immoral. It's a big part of the reason why I also advocate against what Israel is doing. I have also specified that IDF veterans are not valid military targets. If someone were to attack Klein right now, of course they should go to jail. What kind of idiocy is this?
So there you even had some who said, hey, I don't think that you were calling for violence against saying that it's at the very least very weird that you would bring up your former podcast partner's wife, right, in the context of what's happening in the here and now. Also, something you saw is that what people asked,
hope your beeper doesn't go off. Oh yeah, did he also tell you hope your beeper doesn't go off? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. And I'm glad that Philip is like literally posting the full context of this. I'm sure that will be very frustrating for a lot of the foot soldiers because, oh no, why couldn't we get away with just like slandering this person? And why couldn't we just like keep the clip completely out of context? This is an honest assessment. At this point, if people watch this and still fucking have a hate boner for me and they go, nah, fuck that, then it's their own prerogative. It's going to be very difficult to convince them otherwise.
Asked him, why are you addressing this? Asking him, why are you feeding into people dragging you into drama? He said,
so it has led to people issuing active death threats to their communities against me. So I think it's a little bit different than just like immature online gossip slop. At what point does it turn into like a real crime? I think this is the point where it has turned into a real crime. But will you consider it to be something beyond online gossip slop when I either get deplatformed or when I get killed? potentially.
With Hasan saying it's the goal of the people going after him to get him banned and fully deplatformed. And in terms of platforms and deplatforming, in the video that Ethan ended up posting on Monday, he took aim at what content Twitch platforms in general, arguing that the site allows too many calls for political violence, including from Hasan. And then with that, suggesting that since neither Twitch or Amazon are doing anything, the sponsors who advertise there should.
If you use Twitch.
Yeah, this is again a dude who has like spent the last year demanding that like advertisers pull out from Twitch for its anti-Semitism platform. I think it's important to remember, it's important to remind people that he literally is trying to fucking go and get a kick deal right now. A platform that this past week was in the news again because a bunch of French kick streamers actually ended up torturing someone to death. He's going to that platform after spending an entire fucking year complaining about how dangerous, violent, and anti-Semitic Twitch is, in collaboration with Destiny and Destiny's partner in crime, Dan Saltman. People who have said unimaginably anti-Semitic things, not that it matters because they're pro-Israel, and so is Ethan, and he doesn't give a shit when someone is pro-Israel if they're being anti-Semitic. Okay? This is a call to brigade, for the record. This is a violation of Twitch's, or this is a violation of YouTube's terms of service, for the record. Just so you understand. The notion that, like, a guy who is getting a deal from a competing live streaming platform that is a cesspit of anti-Semitism, pedophilia, and all different kinds of awfulness would then turn around and try to fucking harm the revenue streams of a market competitor with cynical attempts like this, demanding that his fan base go and fucking actively spam advertisers with falsehoods, is so transparent. It blows my mind that people don't even fucking understand. I mean, this is like, I don't know what to say. This person used to be an Ethan Klein fan, by the way. Headband, what a bitch made move. He stood on his fucked going after sponsors is. He made his name off railing against Keemstar and how much of a scumbag move it is to go after sponsors. He has lost the plot so fucking hard, by the way. You made him quit going live. They only do 2 days live a week now. It's only 2 hours. I don't know anything about whatever the fuck's going on over there. Okay? But I will say this. This dude is literally trying to get a kick deal. Okay? He's trying to get a fucking kick deal. And before he gets his kick deal, he spent the last year talking about how much he cares about anti-Semitism. He's demanding that people spam advertisers. He's using whatever fraction of clout he has remaining, whatever loyal fan base he still has, to literally go after a platform that has a way more rigorous terms of service than even YouTube does, than certainly Kick does. This doesn't harm me. This harms every fucking content creator on this platform, on Twitch. Okay? What the fuck are we doing? And the dipshits like Asmongold lean into it too. They don't give a fuck. This doesn't hurt me. Let's say I get deplatformed from Twitch, okay? I go somewhere else. Ironically enough, I'd probably go to YouTube. Okay? But in that process, you are, through cynical smears, utilizing the backdrop of an active genocide that's happening to go after an entire fucking social media platform that has tens of thousands of people that rely on it for their careers, their livelihoods, in an effort to play out a revenge fantasy for a guy who was right all along. And people recognize that I was right all along on this issue and you were wrong. It's far past the point of defense, and he's still doing it. The reason why they're going after the advertisers on the entire platform is because they want to put pressure on Twitch to ban me, because I don't have any advertisers that they can go after. I don't run ads. And not only do I not run ads, but I also do very limited ads in general, like limited sponsorships in general. It's so crazy that every fucking Israel defender does the same shit. Just immediate calls to the manager. Oh, wow, this person disagrees with me. I don't care if they're right or wrong. Can we please get them fired? It's one speed, no matter what. Can we get him fired, please? Can we get him fired? Can this guy get fired, please? Can we fire this person, please? That's all. That's all. Is one note, is one speed, same script every time. It's crazy. Yes, the Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. The only thing that you can do if you want to support me is subscribe. That's it. And if you don't have money to do that, that's also fine. It's not like you're going to see ad breaks. I don't run ads. I don't do none of that shit. The H3 podcast lost 280,000 subscribers and 75% of his monthly viewership over the past 2 years. The show is now testing uploading pre-recorded episodes as revenue's fallen. Why so many people dislike you, though, like all the top streamers? No, the only reason why you feel that way is because the only people that vocally speak out against, the only people that speak on me, on my name, are vocally speaking out against me because they're fucking right-wingers like Asmongold. Or Ethan over Israel, Palestine, the fallout, or Sex Pestiny, who has been a stalker of mine in perpetuity. I have plenty of friends in this space. It's just that when they do actually actively defend me, these guys go after them as well, and they fucking dox and harass them too. So it creates this environment that, like, this platform itself is actually incredibly, incredibly hostile to my worldview. And this platform is comprised of only streamers that are right-wing. That's not the case. The issue, however, unfortunately, is that many people are just afraid of speaking out on this stuff. That's it. And I can't even fault them for it. Look at the amount of shit that I have to put up with. I don't want anyone to go through that. The reason why most people don't want to do anything about it is because, like I said, they're just worried about the harassment. They see what's going on. They speak behind closed doors. They know who the fucking weirdos are. They just don't want to say anything. Because they don't want to invoke the anger and wrath, because there's not really anything that authorities or anyone else can do against this kind of behavior, against like mass brigading and endless harassment and basically stalking every single thing that you're doing in an effort to negatively frame whatever you're doing. Ultimately, these guys are powerless, okay? I think my resilience shows that. They're not powerful. They're only as powerful as other people make them. And if other people are afraid and choose to not recognize that we do have the numbers on our side, and they don't want to like invoke the wrath and actively chastise people who behave in this kind of way, then unfortunately these spaces are going to get more and more right-wing, more and more toxic. And then one day we'll all look back and go, how the fuck did this happen? It happened because no one spoke out. That's it. That's it.
If you're watching, when you get an ad, write them and say, hey, I would like to know why you are spending directly your dollars to support violent extremism. Why are you supporting a platform that sanctions, protects, safeguards, encourage, promotes language like what Hasan just...
Yeah, this is also true. Why is the onus now not on E to condemn the actual death threats made against you by his sponsors, podcast co-hosts? Because like that right there, Redact Dev, is sponsoring Ethan Klein's podcast. Okay? One of the last remaining sponsors they have. It's owned by Dan Saltman, who is a psychopathic stalker of mine, as many of you probably know. And he also happens to be Sex Pestini's co-host on their podcast together. And what's really interesting about this is that while I have, without any affiliation to the people that and we don't even know the details of the CPS shit or the skulls or whatever. Immediately, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, that's fucked up. That's completely unacceptable, right? So why has Ethan Klein not come out and said Destiny's direct death threat that he issued against Hasan Abi Piker, my former podcast co-host, is also completely unacceptable? He still is advertising with them. He's still getting money directly from them. It's so crazy. The double standard is insane. It blows my fucking mind. Sometimes I feel like it's just, it's in, he hasn't condemned it. What is this? Hasan doesn't like death threats. Yeah, but again, when he posts this, doesn't he realize that if there's any remaining liberal or progressive people in his fan base, they're going to see this and go, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. Why is Ethan Klein not condemning this? His Canary Mission subreddit community is reporting to the FBI with receipts of the FBI report. Still up with 2.6K upvotes. Yeah, once again, I'm a very visible, very sizable leftist content creator, a progressive content creator, a socialist content creator in the Trump administration. I've already had brush-ins with the law, as you all know. They're actively trying to get the attention of the Trump administration to engage in some kind of prosecution. Now, of course, because this is such a ridiculous thing that they're doing, I doubt that even the Trump administration is going to take note from this and be like, wow, I can't believe he said that people who are engaging in an illegal raid are actually can receive violence in retribution, and it's actually legal for the occupied to do so in the process of that raid. I don't think the FBI is going to fucking find that to be actionable. But if they did, that would be an issue of major consequence. But it's crazy. You have to ask yourself, like, is this really, if you are in any way, shape, or form a progressive person, a liberal-minded person, a person who voted for the Democratic Party or whatever, right? I didn't know that Dude Dan was a sponsor. That's insane. Yeah, that's what Redact Dev is. That's his company. That's Dan Stalkman's company. But it actually blows my mind when people are like, oh, I'm a liberal and I like watching this Goofs and Gaps podcast. And as a liberal, I'm going to spend every waking moment going after a person who should be ideologically aligned with myself, with the hopes that this fascist administration arrests him and throws him in fucking jail. Good luck. Actually crazy. Are you aware that there's a Discord dedicated to stalking your parents and lying about them, and Dan Stalkman is a part of it? It's crazy. They're even putting your parents in danger. It's not new. I've been hunted by fucking Nazis my whole career. So it's not new that they're still doing it. Yes. I didn't know about that, but let me tell you, it's not surprising to me at all. His audience are not socialists, they're liberals. They don't give a fuck because they want socialists over. No, that's not true. The average liberal is not going to fucking entertain the Trump administration going after a left-wing content creator. Like, that's ridiculous. I think you're out of your mind if you think that. No, these are people who have baby brains, who are parasocially invested in playing out the desires of their favorite content creator. It's so sad.
Deployed against Eli.
But ultimately, that's where we are right now. And in the meantime, I'd really love to know your thoughts on this whole situation. One, just in general, no matter who you are, but also two, I know there's at least some crossover of who's watching my show and who's watching these other three. So there's people that are more involved and more invested. What are your thoughts with where things are now? But also, I'll say, as we're talking about creators that are speaking out about platforms, we've got to talk about how creators are continuing to speak out against a different platform, and that is Roblox.
Okay, so then he moves on to Roblox. Let's see what let's see what the comments are saying, dude. Most of it is just like in the Roblox side of things. I think it's pretty obvious why Hasan mentioned Hila. He wasn't calling for violence on her, but she's a proud ex-IDF soldier that still defends their monstrosities. And she's also one of the most prominent ex-IDF soldiers. So he was saying no matter who they are, and Hila is at the extreme end of that spectrum, although it is not a call of violence on her particularly. The whole call out to Dila was a direct reference to a specific story she has talked about. She wasn't part of the actual military. She was a desk worker, but she was bored one day and joined a raid on a Palestinian house one day with the actual militaristic part of the military just for fun. So calling her out was appropriate since she's talked about raiding homes before. That's it. And I think a lot of people don't know that, and that's part of the reason why they're like, why is Hasan talking about Hila? She was just a secretary or something, which, by the way, I mean, that's still, you're still participating in the military, but like, that's not even the reason why I was mentioning that specific story. And I think it's because people don't know about that. I think it's because people don't know about that. And that's the reason why they act as though it's like so out of pocket. And where is the video? I mean, we've covered it on this broadcast before. She has herself personally explained it. So I don't know why Ethan tries to actively lie to his audience and everyone else out of shame when he should also be he should be proud of it. No, I mean, after all, they did boast about it at the time. It's still on their pocket. It's got 1.2 million views. I mean,
and your whole family served in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience in the military?
It was okay.
Right below the...
I didn't do anything like, I wasn't like a combative role.
Yeah, you weren't a fighter.
I wasn't a fighter, so...
This one's better.
2 years that I served in the West Bank.
Oh, yeah. This is actually a comparison that I've made on the broadcast as well. A side-by-side comparison of a former IDF soldier who actually participated in the same style of night raid that Klein had participated in, and how he's reflecting on those events versus how she has consistently defended Israel to this day. This isn't to like bring up any sort of... this in and of itself is not to say like... this war crime in and of itself that she participated in is reason to do any harm to this person. I don't believe that. I think it's fucking ridiculous if you were to claim that I believe that. I think it's ridiculous if you were to do anything at all. Okay? Shut the fuck up. That's not my commentary. That's not my beliefs. I don't believe that at all. Okay? But just look at the difference between how she speaks about this experience versus how he describes the great details. This person is also a part of Breaking the Silence, a group of former IDF veterans that are against the apartheid and against the occupation. On the left, you have a person who has reflected on some of the cruel acts that he has engaged in. On the right, you have someone who has not.
Very different than defending Israel.
You can apply for it, and it's a form that you fill out. And if I don't like the second one, then I'll just find a way to get out of the army. I ended up in a better place that I liked, a base that was far from my house.
Were you revolted by what you had witnessed?
Yeah, definitely yes.
It was kind of like just more of an adventure.
Every Palestinian in front of me was not any more human being like me, was an enemy, a potential terrorist.
You went on like a mission with them to like a terrorist city?
Yeah.
If Palestinians will get the feeling that the IDF is all the time everywhere, they'll be afraid to attack. So what do you do to give them this feeling? You make your presence felt. You start your night shift patrol.
They would go every night on a raid.
Right.
In Ramallah. So one time I wanted to go with them just to experience it.
Break into a house, Palestinian house, of course. Not a house we have intelligence about. I'm the sergeant, I lead the patrol, I choose a random house.
I walked with them to one house.
Wake up the family, men one side, women the other side. Search the place, you can yourself imagine the dynamics, yeah?
You see people in the house, and then it's like the soldiers just walk into the house and look through their shit.
Jump from one roof to another, come out through another house, wake the family. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It didn't stop for 1 second.
Does it feel like a normal neighborhood?
No, it actually looked like a nice city.
The idea is that every Palestinian will feel
These raids are illegal under international law. Israel's presence in the occupied West Bank entirely is illegal anyway. Don't listen to the fucking designations that they specify, like, oh, there are 3 different zones or whatever. It's all fucking bullshit. Every single settler that has settled in the occupied West Bank has settled there illegally, okay? Don't listen to Israel's own legalese will try to create like a security presence in the West Bank or whatever. No, that's all bullshit, okay?
the military is right here. It's to do what we call in the military ליצור תחושת נרדפות, to create the feeling of being persecuted. This is not an action of a rogue soldier or officer. This is your mission. There is no way of doing it nice.
People are so easy to judge Ela for.
These raids are illegal in Israel law since it's Area A2. It's even illegal in Israeli law, but it doesn't matter.
Doing mandatory service in Israel, right? Everybody goes, I would have objected. I would have chosen to go to jail and be ostracized by society.
They took me with them one time, even though they're not supposed to, because it was not my job. They did it just because I asked and I'm cute.
You asked and because you're cute?
Is it possible for an Israeli soldier to serve in the territories with a clear conscience?
I don't believe a soldier who served in the occupied territories has clean hands. It's not that every soldier murders innocent Palestinians, but no Israeli soldier who served in the occupied territories, his hands were clean after that. Because at the heart of what you do, there is no way of seeing Palestinians as equal human beings to you.
That's it. And that is why people act as though what I said is so ridiculous. Because they don't know that, and I didn't know at the time either when I did this podcast. Like only a year after I was done with Leftovers did I ever even find out about Hila Khan's participation in an illegal raid in the West Bank. And for the record, I know people will get mad at me for saying this, like pro-Palestinian people will get mad at me for saying this, but like the reality of the matter is, even if someone had done something so inhumane, if they had actually reflected on that behavior and spent every waking moment advocating against that sort of behavior from continuing with that experience that they had, I would never hold them. I would never hold that against them. I would never be like, well, you served in the IDF at one point. Okay. That is also something to remember. That's the difference. Is the very fact that like she's also still unconditionally defending the actions of Israel over and over again, promoting girl boss fighter pilots that bombed Iran, and on the way back with the additional munitions that they had, deployed it in fucking Gaza, saying that Orthodox Jews or the Hasidic Jews that don't want to serve in the military are actually selfish for not wanting to serve. Like all of this stuff that they've done over the course of the past year and a half, actively trying to silence any kind of dissent, not only against them, but also against the Israeli state, is crazy. In a just world, if people truly did see Palestinians as human beings, they wouldn't be coming in here and being like, wow, I can't believe you invoked Hila's name for participating in an illegal raid in the West Bank. You'd be going, I am horrified with this new information that I just found out. And you'd be going over there to ask them, do you still think what you did was appropriate? How do you value your service within the Israeli occupying forces with your current understanding? What is your current understanding of what Israel is doing? Do you have remorse for the actions that you engaged in? That would be the appropriate line of questioning. The appropriate line of questioning isn't to be like, Hasan, I can't believe you brought up an illegal raid that Hila Klein participated in. It's so crazy. Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said girl bossing. Female pilot who participated in attack on Iran. Israeli women are heroes. And then she apologized because people yelled at her. I would like to apologize for a recent story reshare about the female Israeli pilot being a hero. It came off as glorifying violence, which wasn't my intention at all, but I understand how it came off. I wanted to highlight the difference between women's lack of rights in Iran under the Ayatollah and women in Israel being given agency to even fight in combat. That being said, it's not the best timing or situation to make such a point. War is terrible and should never be glorified, and I'm very sorry for the post. Yeah, this is the Orthodox refusing to enlist to kill Palestinians in Gaza, utter confusion to their employee, Tom.
Well, the big disagreement was that people are fighting for the Orthodox Jews to get drafted as well to the army because they're not.
Motherfuckers, dude.
But Israel...
That's an issue?
Yeah, the Orthodox don't serve.
They don't serve.
Yeah, it's like Amish people, too. They don't do that.
But
there's so
everybody
many of
else
these
has to.
fuckers. They're
Everybody
leeches,
has to do it.
Sure.
So it's like, what the fuck?
dude. The Orthodox are such leeches there.
Oh, you're saying the Orthodox Jews in Israel
Yeah.
don't serve? I thought that like everyone had to.
Exactly, except the Orthodox.
Oh,
And then the Orthodox.
because they need to sit and pray for God all day.
Oh, I'd be Orthodox as fuck. I would have the things, the
Yeah.
wraps
Hell yeah.
and everything.
Hell yeah.
I'd be all about it. To
So,
spill them.
Yeah. They're more mad at the Orthodox Jews not serving than Israel forcing people to serve in a genocidal army, than Israel doing a genocide. I understand why you don't want the streamers that agree with you to put themselves in harm's way, but to your second point, we need more people in power to speak up and combat these lies about Palestine primarily and about you too. It's like how we want the Dems to speak up, use their power and numbers to push left. I speak up, but in real life, and I'm no one, it would help prominent streamers across platforms set up for what's right too. Yeah. Sarah Seam, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. It's also funny because like I got out of mandatory conscription in Turkey, and Ethan has said I was selfish for doing so, and so is Hila. And also the new meta is claiming that I'm a Turkish ultra-nationalist who throws up the fucking gray wolf sign sincerely because I'm secretly dog whistling. I can't even go back to the fucking country that I grew up in to see my goddamn family, okay? And there are motherfuckers living in like Iowa and in the comforts of New Jersey and Philadelphia and all around the country being like, this Hasan guy, I learned a lot about Turkey in the last Reddit thread that I read. And this Hasan guy seemingly is famously a fucking nationalist. It's so crazy, dude. Even when I literally, then they'll point to me criticizing Then they'll point to me criticizing a prominent Turkish national team player throwing up the fucking Grey Wolf sign and then go, and he knows what it means, so he's clearly doing it as a fucking dog whistle. Okay, then why would I not defend the other guy? That literally, it does not make sense. That is so inconsistent. You're using a video of me criticizing a prominent Turkish athlete throwing up that sign and saying it's a fascist symbol, and then you simultaneously go, oh, dude, you're throwing up the Grey Wolf here. Clearly, you also are an ultra-nationalist, a Turkish fascist or some shit. Did you go to a Gülen school? Fuck no. You fucking kidding me? Fuck Gülen. Yeah, the funny thing is, yes, as this Turkish chatter says, the Turkish nationalist broadcasters fucking hate me, and they say I'm racist against the Turkish race for all of my criticisms of ultra-nationalism in Turkey. The Erdogan guys hate me because they say I'm a agent of the West. Ironically, Erdogan is the biggest agent of the West, but that's besides the point. They say I'm woke and gay. I just don't understand how you can be so fucking so far off base with the reality. Like, even if you're just an onlooker, you look at the things that this guy is presenting, and then you look at like what I'm saying, and you still go, yeah, this Hasan guy, he's bad news, man. Like, look at this. This motherfucker is like, this is his 4th thumbnail. Hasan Piker put my family in danger. I need your help to stop this. And then it's a photo of me holding up a fucking airsoft gun, okay? And he's making it seem as though like I'm literally trying to hunt down Hila Klein or something. Like, well, this is just so psychotic. This is just pure defamation, you know? Good luck, man. I'm sure this'll do it. I knew you were grifting 10 years ago when you were saying the same things you are saying now. Exactly. Like, how are you going to A/B test thumbnails and one of your A/B tests is just straight up pure fucking slander? Roach had a similar thumbnail with "Killed Him" next to you. I know. Anyway, it is what it is. Not the first time a bunch of fucking hyper-nationalist, weirdo reactionaries have actively called on my death and my deplatforming at the same time while perceiving themselves as the victim. And it most likely won't be the last. Now let's get to a fun podcast appearance that I did with the I've Had It ladies.
0.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Mr. GQ. Pumps, go ahead and get it out of your system.
Oh my God, I loved it.